Are you ready to meet your top 16 drivers? Starting with the first car parked closest to outer zone number 1 in the Wordhouse Drift Team Falcon Tires S15 from Poland, it is Peter Visek. Next to him, he is your defending champion coming all the way from Ireland in the Wordhouse Drift Team Falcon Tires S15. It's James the Machine Dean. Moving on down the line in his gum out, Nexen Tires Toyota Racing 86, it is Ryan Turk. Next up, rounding out the bone zone, these two gentlemen, they're all white suits ready for this Florida weather. In the NOS Energy Drink 370Z on Nexen Tires, Chris the Force Forsberg. Coming to us from Washington for the first time ever in Formula Drift Top 16, the Achilles Radial S13, it is Matt Van Kirk. All right, these next two cars are frenemies, but now they're doing battle in that Falcon Tires S14 from Wrightwood, California. It is Ori Bakshish. Coming to us from the Beast from the Bay. He is in the Wish Falcon Tires Borla Exhaust Corvette. It is Matt Field. Next up, originally from Kalamazoo, Michigan, now living in Southern California, Falcon Tires Roush Performance Ford Mustang. It is JTP Justin Pollock. Next up, a Formula Drift veteran since day one. We've seen him grow up. We've seen him grow up into this strong young man. He is in that Gretty Performance Falcon Tires Toyota Racing 86. The goosh is loose. Ken Gooshy. Another driver since day one. There's just a handful of them left. He is in the Turn 14 Distribution Falcon Tires Turbocharged LS Subaru BRZ. It is Slide or Die Chiro Yoshihara. And next up, this driver, a former champion, also the Black Magic #1 qualifier award winner, Ray Trouble. Him and Retail Parts Pro Advanced Auto Parts Daphne Torres are given the award. Look at that medallion, the rock star getting the #1 top qualifier award. Daphne Torres, General Manager of Advanced Auto Parts. Congratulations, you're #1 top qualifier in the Rockstar Energy Drink Nexen Tires Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla, Frederick Osbo. Next up, coming to us from Wild, did he ever leave Ohio for his first ever Formula Drift Top 16 driver introduction, the Lingenfelter Achilles Radial Drift Vet. It is Dirk the Dagger Stratton. All right, this gentleman, he has seen the podium here before. He's in the brand new E92 Eurofighter. Coming to us from Latvia, the HGK Achilles Radial BMW. It is Christoph Splush. Next up, originally from Hawaii, now residing in Las Vegas. He is in the Vectasia Achilles Radial Energy Innovations. He's about to get nuts. Say hello to Forrest Wang. Next up, truly an international affair coming to us from Ireland. A brand new Dodge Viper. It's being debuted here at Orlando Speed World. The Oracle Lighting Achilles Radial Dodge Viper. It is Dean Carnage Carney. And last but definitely not least, from DR, that's Dominican Republic, in the Jado Metal Dom Toyota Racing 86 on Nexen Tires, it is Jonathan Castro. There are your top 16 drivers. Are you ready to see them send it? Orlando Speed World, make some noise. All right, remember, hashtag FDORL. Let everybody know you are out here. Humble brag to your friends. You're part of history, celebrating 15 years of Formula Drift competition. All right. welcome back. We are again getting staged for our top 16. We are live at Orlando Speed World. This place filled up nicely, and it's just been a beautiful day. Compared to last year, it was really hot and balmy. And our first battle is on deck, and this should be a doozy. What an introduction into a Formula Drift top 16 competition. Matt Van Kirk, a rookie, is about to do battle against not only the winner from round 1, Long Beach, not only the #1 qualifier, not only a former champion, but one of the best drivers in the biz, Frederick Osbo, in that Rockstar energy drink. Nexen Tire, Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla. The freshman year for that vehicle looks similar to his Toyota Corolla IM that he campaigned last year. They brand new build here. They debuted it. How they kept it under wraps so secretly is beyond me, but he's going against, again, Matt Van Kirk. This is his first battle of, oh no, sorry, yes, it is, I'm sorry. He had a bye in his first run because of his #1 qualification position. He had a score of 99, a near perfect 100. Matt Van Kirk ain't no slouch either, though. He qualified 16th. And here we go. So again, Matt Van Kirk with a score of 89. So definitely a capable driver. Saw him definitely step up in practice and then in qualifying. So Frederick Osbo will lead this first battle. Matt Van Kirk will give chase. We have that start chicane implemented. You hit a cone, you restart, you get a strike, but nope, we got a clean start. Here we go. Frederick Osbo, the Norwegian Hammer, dropping in. Lighten up those Nexen tires quickly. The Keeley's radials and Matt Van Kirk trying to gain some ground here up on that big outer zone. Dropping down in. Look at that. The separation of Osbo and Van Kirk just pulling away in that flat bottom section. Into the crease goes Osbo. Van Kirk lacking the angle and the distance between the two of them, just showing you why Osbo is a former champion, 2nd overall last year. He wants to get that title back from James Dean.
Well, Frederick Osbo here again consistently. What he does as the lead driver goes down and makes it very difficult the next time around for that chase driver to have a very solid lead with the pressure on. And this is what Osbo does here. You can see just that slight little bobble there through the center, lacking the fluidity in the transition. But other than that, this is a clean run from Osbo. Van Kirk playing a little bit of catch up there, back a ways, still kind of holding his own. But obviously now he's really got to pull out all the stops for that lead run of his own.
All right, we know it's hot out there for sure, but be mindful of your umbrellas if you're blocking people or whatever. I mean, just please be mindful. We know they block the sun, and a lot of you already have them, and a lot of you Floridians are used to utilizing umbrellas, but just be mindful of your neighbors, please. Here we go, Matt Van Kirk, Frederick Osbo, the second half of this battle. Van Kirk flicks it in. Nice job by Van Kirk. Van Kirk in that lead position, strong. Look at that. Osbo right there, looming the shadows. Now Osbo minus the angle. Oh, and look at this, Van Kirk getting into the crease. I told you, Van Kirk, not a pushover by any means. Well done by Van Kirk, but is that enough to take down that real dominant lead run? And Van Kirk kind of playing catch up, as you said, Ryan.
Well, a real valiant effort here from Van Kirk. You can see starts off pretty well, nice and high on the bank. Good smoke line being developed here. Consistent, makes a little bobble there. Osbo kind of keeping pace with them, not pushing the pressure too much. And as we come through this center section here, Van Kirk nice and tight on that inside clip, is able to connect that inside clip and that outer zone pretty well, but Osbo's not letting him get away. He's keeping the pressure on him enough, and he also has that good lead run in the bank.
All right, so Osbo and Van Kirk await the outcome of our first battle of top 16 action. All right, Van Kirk and Osbo. Slide him left for Van Kirk, right for Frederick Osbo. Unanimously gets the win. Frederick Osbo, the Rockstar energy drink. Nexen Tire, Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla gets the victory. But hat tip to Matt Van Kirk, his first top 16 in Formula Drift Pro competition. Two veterans of the sport, Ken Gushi and Daijiro Yoshihara. Similar setups. I mean, you got a Toyota, you got a BRZ. They look the same aesthetically, but very different. As the 2JZ under the hood of Ken Gushi, it looks like the hood is popped. That could be a problem. Then Dai Yoshihara, look at that, 7 battles between the two veterans. They've been competing since 2004. And jokingly and lovingly, seen both Ken Gushi and Daijiro Yoshihara grow up over the years. Dai's had so many different haircuts over the years and different visors. And now he's got children.
Haircuts to children. That's a good little transition there. I was going to ask you, what was your favorite haircut?
I just like the big spiked with the visor.
Yeah, that's kind of the classic look.
That's the kit, but
the all-time.
But the bright orange, like OG, like Pacific Rim S13, like big glasses, like real flashy J style.
Yeah, Ken kind of represented a new hairstyle this year as well.
I haven't seen it since I kind of poked fun at it, to be honest.
Oh, he said that's out?
Yeah, I haven't seen it. He kind of ran like this old school J haircut. Yeah, and it was amber. So all right, looks like the hood was popped, but nothing wrong with the engine. Just ripped the bumper off. But again, BRZ 86, similar chassis, but very different engine setups. Ken Gushi running that 2JZ under the hood of his Greddy Performance. That's the white vehicle. And then under the Turn 14 Falcon tires, both these guys on Falcons notably. Dai Yoshihara running a turbocharged LS engine. So a big Chevy V8 with turbo strapped to it. Here we go. And we got a clean start. Ken Gushi, Daijiro Yoshihara into that first outer zone. Ken Gushi high on the bank, Daijiro Yoshihara right there. Dai did podium here last year. He got third place. Can he get on the podium once again? Whoa, jumping forward over the whoop section, but it has to back off. And Dai Yoshihara quickly getting to the side of Ken Gushi. Let's take a look at this again, Ryan. Break it on down.
Yeah, great tandem here. First run, definitely a home run by both drivers, initiating together. Dai's right in the pocket. Ken Gushi high on the bank. Great smoke line. You can see coming down off the bank. Gushi perfect on that inside clip. Now through the middle. Dai dives in right there, then has to back off a little bit. Misses that second inside clip, but Ken is able to hit it. And then through this last corner here, Dai pushing a little bit more of the pressure on Ken Gushi, but solid run overall between both drivers.
A little shout out to Sitting Sideways. Thanks for joining us out here. And a lot of you online, share with everybody we are live as Dai Yoshihara, Turn 14 Distribution Falcon tires. Subaru BRZ will now lead, and Ken Gushi will give chase. And we are clear to send. Like I said, Ken Gushi comfortable, confident with his car. Didn't get too many words with Dai Yoshihara, but all I can say is action speaks louder than words, and the car looks very settled, poised. The car doesn't have many shimmies, especially watch when he initiates here. Just boom, the car is locked and ready to rock. Woo! Look at Ken Gushi right there. But in order to have a good chase run, you need a good lead run. Dai Yoshihara is doing exactly that. Ken Gushi allowing some transition of transfer of the vehicle in front of him. He does that, and look at Dai right in the crease, in the fold, licking the envelope, signed, sealed, delivered. Well done by Dai Yoshihara.
Yeah, I think in the chase, Gushi had the better bank, but maybe Dai had the better second half of the run. Let's take a look at this. This is a great job, full commitment by both drivers. Ken up in the pocket, closing the door there, falls back for a second, then gets back on it through the smoke line. Nice job by Dai to hit that inside clip. Ken falls back for just a second, then gets right back on it. Gushi trying to control the pace and close the door, but unable to get as close as Dai in that last section of the course. This is a very, very close battle. I would not be surprised to see this go one more time.
All right, the two drivers awaiting the outcome, and here is the dagger, Dirk Stratton. His debut in Formula Drift Top 16 competition, but here's the outcome of the FD veterans. Yoshihara, Ken Gushi, which way is it gonna go? Ryan says Ken Gushi. Andy and Brian, Andy says one more time, and Brian says Ken Gushi gets the win. The Goosh is loose, and he is in the Great 8. Talking to Ryan Lontaine up here, one of the three judges. I see him tabulating some notes there, but you sided with Ken Gushi, 2-1.
Yeah, I really looked at Dai's, the way he dove in at inside clip 2 and kind of backed off was the major thing that put him towards Gushi. They had similar outside zone 1, but it was really that error that Daijiro made that really made me think, I think Ken Gushi did the better job. Yeah.
So it's just more consistency overall versus kind of lunging back and forth.
Yeah, they both did phenomenally on outside zone when they were really similar in terms of their leads and chases. It's just really the infield that changed it for me.
All right. So moving on, Ken Gushi into the Great 8, and now moving on to our next battle. That is Dirk Stratton versus Peter Visick, who was on the podium, third place last event. Dirk Stratton He made his way through earlier Matt Kaufman. That was a great battle. Remember, that went one more time. And now Peter Visick, he went against Austin Meeks. This should be a fun battle. I mean, you look at Peter Visick, podium, gets the win at Irwindale late last year, the final round. He gets third place in Long Beach. Dirk Stratton, his Formula Drift Pro rookie year, coming from Ohio. You got this Polish driver. He's on his sophomore season. Here we go. And Dirk Stratton lighting him up quickly. Look at that thing. That is a smoke machine. But no matter how much smoke you make, you need to get it up there to the top of that wall. Peter Visick does that. So transition into the flat bottom. Dirk and the drift vet strike. Peter Visick about the third hashtag and bringing it into that final finish line. So wow, Ryan, a lot of things going on here. Man, Dirk Stratton, did you see him just drop a gear and the smoke just billows out of the back of that car?
Well, just about the only mistake that Piotr made out front was missing that second inside clip. Let's take a look at it here. He's super high on the bank. You can see Dirk is on that middle line, almost crossing down on those yellow hash marks. Right here, Piotr is just going to go a little bit long on that second inside clip. He still is able to connect, though. He does do it a little bit later in that outer zone. So just kind of nitpicking the lead run here, but overall it was a solid lead run for Piotr. We saw Dirk struggling a little bit to keep pace. He made that mistake on the bank by not matching the line, but now he's got an opportunity out front. They'll switch things up.
All right, Dirk Stratton, Lingenfelter, Achilles Radial, Drift Vet. Again, Stratton Chevrolet, they own their own Chevy dealership in Ohio. Peter Visick, you see him working the wheel. Wordhouse Drifting Falcon tires, S15. Wants to get back on the podium. He's in top 5 in points right now. Still so many tires to be burnt throughout the Formula Drift Championship. But every round counts, every battle counts. Dirk Stratton will lead. Peter Visick will give chase. Quick little slide, no problem. We got a clean start. Here we go, send it. Dirk Stratton transitions. Nice, nasty flick from Dirk Stratton. Cannot shake Peter Visick. Peter Visick not shaken at all. Into that first front clip, both of them on it. Dirk Stratton dialing in tight to that second clip, and look at Peter Visick strike hard. This is what he's been doing all day, and he does it again. Woo! Make some noise for Stratton and Visick. And introducing Dirk Stratton to the Formula Drift Pro world.
Very impressed by Dirk. Great event for him this weekend. But you can see just the pro massive level, high class drifting of Piotr Visick on this second run here. He gives just enough room here to keep it competitive, but through this second inside clip, accelerates forward, blasting just almost in a very odd way, catching right up to the door of Dirk and staying there to force a very solid conclusion to that run by Piotr Visick. Very nice driving overall, and Dirk impressive in his own right, but Piotr just too much in that second part of the run.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is just to show you the caliber of driving that we're seeing now in the top 16. It's just so dominant, and Dirk's run, if that was a qualifying run, that would have been 90s. Again, he qualified well. Dirk Stratton qualified 13th, and again, everybody what was it from? Yeah, I mean, they were in the 90s from 14. So here's the result. Again, hat tip to both these guys. Slide them left for Stratton or right for Peter Visick is your victor. Peter from Poland is the winner. These guys, one-time teammates. Castro's vehicle operated by CFR, the Chris Forsberg Racing Team. And now Chris, 3-time champion, going against Castro. And Castro had, again, it just bears repeating, the run of his life last year against James Dean. So he's very comfortable on this track. Forsberg, he had some engine issues last night. And then Castro, I know on his first qualifying run, he had some issues. So, again, all these guys praying to the race gods that everything is up to snuff. So, Chris Forsberg and the NOS Energy Drink. 370Z on Nexen tires. Originally from Pennsylvania, then from Dominican Republic, Jonathan Castro and his Jordo Metal Dom. Nexen tires, Toyota Racing, 86. Welcome to the jungle is exactly right. Again, Forsberg versus Castro. Forsberg will lead. He qualified 12th. Jonathan Castro qualified 28th. Show me what you got. Here we go. Chris Forsberg. Clean start. No cones hit. All right, the VQ Power 370Z gets up on the bank. Looks like he even taps the wall. Have to look at the replay, Ryan. Castro right there, ducking in that smoke signal. Forsberg rocking it away. Castro getting out of shape. Takes out that front clip. Forsberg exceeds the line just a little bit, but then gets back into the fold. Ryan, let's take a look at this again. There on the big outer zone, the first one, looks like he taps.
Little messy here by both drivers, but still very exciting. Forsberg does get into the wall here, but he's able to keep angle in the car and not let it mess him up too much. You can see Castro right there uses that as an opportunity to close the door, but then right here, as he cuts through the smoke line, he realizes he's on too tight of a line. He has to make an adjustment. He hits that inside clip, and then Chris smooth sailing the rest of the run through the finish line. So switching things up, Castro will go to the lead, and Chris Forsberg will chase him down after what could have been a very eventful situation there with Forsberg playing chicken with the wall.
All right, Carmedia Racing watching. Jack and Harry watching from the UK. Dropping some bass and having some good times. All up in your cerebellum. As Jonathan Castro will lead second half of this battle. Forsberg in the chasing position. Already in the grade 8, Frederick Osbo, Ken Gushi, and Piotr Visik. Piotr will go against the winner of this battle. Osbo and Gushi, both Toyota Racing teammates, will go against each other in the grade 8. And here we go. Let's send it. Orlando Speed World. Castro out front. Chris Forsberg in chase. Castro initiates. Forsberg has to back off quickly. He initiates to the door of Jonathan Castro. Now Forsberg lunges forward here in this flat bottom section. Castro tries to get out to the outer zone, fails to do so. Forsberg sticking it to the door. Let's take a look at this, Ryan. A bit wonky right from the start. Looks like Castro initiated, Forsberg threw it in and didn't have that right there.
Let's take a look here, Jared. You can see Castro does not get to angle right away, and that does look like it played a little bit of a role in what Forsberg was able to do there. I'd like to go back and see that again, but usually you see snap right to initiation, hold that, get back on throttle, and get through that section of the course. But here we go on the last half of the course. Castro here is almost out to that line. Forsberg pushing the pace. But I want to go back and see that initiation one more time and get some judges' interpretation on that. That did look like it played a major role in the overall run.
All right, so as Forsberg and Castro wait for the verdict, I believe the scores are in, and here we go. Slide them left for Castro, right for Forsberg. Ryan, Andy, and Brian are saying. Ryan says Chris Forsberg, and there it is. Chris Forsberg gets the win. Lantain, you have your headset on. That initiation seemed like he hesitated really quick. Was that what you saw?
And that was none of those three at all. So we're looking for them to do their qualifying runs in tandem, and he didn't do that there. So we can't hold Chris responsible for falling off a little bit there. He didn't have a clean lead to follow in that section, but he still caught up and did a great job throughout the rest of the run. So kudos to him for that, and that's why he got the win. All
right, so there you have it. And yeah, Ryan Sage, as you said, that observation that came to fruition. All right, so a battle that a lot of people have been wanting to see since James Dean, 7-year absence from Formula Drift. He comes in. Forrest Wang, he exited Formula Drift last year. So now the stars have aligned for what a lot of people are expecting to be very stylish. 2 S15s, 2 JZs. You got 4 JZs. You got S30s. I'm joking, doing the math here. But 2 S15s, 2 JZ engines under the hood. You have an Irish gentleman in his right-hand drive vehicle. And look at Forrest Wang. He's on the left-hand drive side. It converted that vehicle. So this should be a battle of the ages, what a lot of people want to see trolling the internet. So James Dean will lead. He qualified 2nd. Forrest Wang qualified 15th. And here we go. Send it, fellas. James Dean, Forrest Wang. Who's moving on to the grade 8? James Dean initiates. Kind of a slow trickle there for James Dean. Massive angle from Dean as Forrest Wang struggling to match the angle of James Dean. Now through the whoop section, James Dean into that second outer zone. Make some noise for him, Dean and Wang.
But you can see from the get-go here, Jared, that Wang is really trying to time this right. He waits an extra half beat to try to get in the pocket there with James Dean. Now, he does it pretty well, but it's not perfect, and you can see the little mistakes that he's making here, trying to match the angle and the line with James Dean out front. Now, Dean is running a really solid line. You see how he connects that inside clip to that outer zone. From basically the red marker to the red marker. Pretty much does that perfectly. We know Forrest is an amazing lead driver. He has the abilities to go out and match that run that James just put down. But the scary thing for Wang here is that Dean really is an amazing chase driver. So he's going to have to really force some mistakes or do something that catches Dean off guard, because you could see a couple of little mistakes that Wang made in the chase position as he really tried to keep ground with James Dean. Again,
traditionally in the past, Forrest Wang has had the big angle, a little slower rate of speed, but man, look at the side grip that James Dean had. He had massive angle and was just pushing forward with that vehicle. Now, how is James Dean, again, having to modify? You know, it seemed like they have fairly equally sized vehicles as far as speed. Here we go. Forrest Wang out front. James Dean in the chase position. Both of them initiating almost identical. Look at and Forrest Wang gets into the wall. He had that lack of angle. Really threw him off. That Super Doof kid dragging off the back. Whoa, Dean, we got contact from the back. So let's take a look here, because you saw Forrest get into the wall. That could have affected the car's performance. Then you have to see the contact there from James Dean. Ryan, we're going to see a few replays of this.
Yeah, you're going to see Forrest here get into the wall right in the center section. Obviously, like the stud that he is, he stays in it, continues to push through, but then right here the car dies and Dean has nowhere to go. So my first pass evaluation on this is it's going to be fault to Forrest Wang.
So looking at the first run, we were looking at the way that Wang's power seemed to fall off. We're not quite sure what was happening there in the first run. When you're watching Forrest Wang in the chase position, his angle drops off and looks like he's either having power issues, and it looks like it reared its head in the lead position as well, which we were kind of expecting. Since it happened in his chase run, it would probably happen in the lead as well, and it looks like that power delivery problem is what caused that crash.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of, man, that's kind of crazy how everything unfolded. So slide him left for Forrest Wang, slide him right for James Dean, and James Dean gets the victory. So as Lantain was elaborating there, the contact with the wall, the car just didn't seem 100%, even under the judges' scrutinization, and James Dean just long and strong. So already 5 drivers in. James Dean will go against the winner of the next battle. That is Odi Bakshis or Matt Field. These two frenemies, as they've been branded, both of them running teal and blue. You can see the high-vis yellow underneath the Corvette. And look at this. Odi Bakshis batting 1,000 against the Beast from the Bay. But I tell you what, Matt Field looking a lot more confident. And this is bragging rights. Talk about frenemies. It's coming to fruition here on the track. Odi Bakshis, Matt Field. You see Odi beating Matt 3 times compared to Matt Field's big old goose egg. So the Wish Falcon tires Corvette versus the supercharged Vortex Supercharged LS S14.5. Odi Bakshis qualified 7th, so he will lead first. Matt Field qualified 10th, so he will give chase. Remember, the winner goes against James Dean. So 3 more battles left here in the top 16. Hey, you guys having fun out there? Make some noise. Yeah, right on. Again, Orlando Speed World. We are live around the world, not just here in O-Town. Great band, by the way. O-Town, fantastic band. Liquid Dreams. It was a jam. All right, so Odi, again, getting prepared. Matt Field debuting his new car at Long Beach. Saying a little hesitant in Long Beach at a very unforgiving track surrounded by concrete walls. But now, like I said, this is bragging rights at the bar later tonight. Who's going to be the friend? Who's going to be the enemy? Here go these two frenemies. Odie Bakshis out front. Matt Field in the chase position. Odie initiates. High on the bank. Matt Field right there. The beast in the bay. Oh, doctor, look at this. Here we go. Oh, Matt Field makes contact. Odie Bakshis doesn't back down. Like I said, bragging rights. Push comes a shove. As Odie Bakshis stays in it, Matt Field does as well. Exchanging paint, but coincidentally, they have the same colored paint job.
Now, 9 times out of 10, that would have ended the run, but these two guys kept going. It doesn't look like any major mechanical damage was sustained there. Look at this battle right here up on top of the bank. Right there, you can see Odie looks like he's about to go a little bit long. Matt doesn't really have anywhere to go, make some contact there, but both drivers get back into it. Incredible battle here, scrubbing some paint. Really fun to watch with Odie out front. Solid lead run there. I like to see that the contact once again. It looks like maybe Odie's going a little bit long here. Right there, it just looks like he was just a little bit deep there, but it is really hard to tell from this angle.
All right, so remember, in just a couple weeks, we have Formula Drift Atlanta. Show of hands, who's coming to join us at round 3, Road Atlanta? Who's coming to Road Atlanta? I see a few of you. Right on. Thank you, fellas. All right, Lorette Nickel is live with Matt Field. Lorette?
Guys, thank you so much. Matt Field, some contact out on the track. What happened?
1 second. Yeah, this is we knew it was going to be a hard battle with Odie. I threw it in, gave it all I had. In the decel zone coming off of zone 1, I didn't really slow down. I used him to slow down a little bit. I knew he was going to be fast, so I just had to push as hard as possible, and unfortunately, I kind of gave him a little bit of a bump there.
Is your team telling you if you have any damage?
I mean, I know it knocked the toe out a little bit, so we're just going to set the toe and go right back out on track. We'll be ready to go.
Matt, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you, Lorette, and good luck to you, Matt Field. Again, talking about setting the toe, feeling like he's good. And Ryan Sage, I can hear you just right next to me talking to the judges. Do we have a driver deemed at fault?
Yeah, we do need to give fault just because the cars need to be looked at. They are going to give Field the fault for the contact. So Odie will be able to look at the vehicle without using a competition timeout.
We're advancing on to our next battle. We'll revisit the battle between Bakshis and Field. All right, so again, we are in top 16, forging the Great 8. So we are advancing on. We'll revisit the second half of the Odie Field battle. Right now it's JTP, Justin Pollock versus Dean Carnage Carney. And these guys have seen battle against each other 3 times, with Justin Pollock besting him with 2 out of the 3 victories. Dean debuting this new Viper. He's been campaigning on Viper for quite some time, and he actually started admittedly building this vehicle last year, but finally debuting it at this event. Couldn't make it to round 1 in Long Beach, but changed the whole setup. You know, from he traditionally had, or before had, a supercharger. Now he's running a turbo setup, changed all his suspension, just everything. Different transmission even. So this is a kind of a foreign vehicle for him, even though he's very familiar with the Dodge Viper. And we are ready to send him here, as JTP will lead. As I said, he qualified 3rd, Dean qualifying 14th. And a clean start, no cones hit. Here we go, JTP shimmies his way into that outer zone. Well played by him, Dean Carney. Now dropping into that first front clip. Look at Dean, woo, barely, almost exchanging some bumper. Yeah, let's take a look at it. Did something fly off? Was there a little tap? I was switching between the TV and the live there, so I didn't see if there was actually some paint exchange.
It was very minimal, but it was just enough to be noticeable. Let's take a look here. Justin, with that initiation, gets right back on throttle. A little bit of separation here, but Dean slowly creeping up, trying to close the door, coming off the bank. JTP hits that inside clip right here. Watch. Right there.
Just that splitter.
Little nugget coming off the back bumper there. And you can see Dean falls back after that. So maybe he didn't time his initiation back around or his transition back around as perfectly as he would have liked. Justin, pretty solid lead run. And now Dean has got his work to do as the lead driver.
And we are ready to send cars for the second half of this battle. And away they go from the start line. Wow, Justin Pollock already right there as Dean. He's higher on the bank. Pollock looks like he's struggling there as Dean keeps it high. Pollock has some issues there on the bank. And now Dean really maxing out that angle. Gets into the crease. Nice job as Pollock. Seems like he was kind of struggling there from the beginning. Wasn't as high as Dean on that bank on initiation.
Well, both drivers aggressive here. You can see Justin, look at that, swoops right behind Dean, tries to initiate it at the same time. Had that first little section really strong, but right here he kind of comes down a little bit. It looks like he's got a lot of grip in the vehicle, maybe a little bit more speed than he anticipated there, against Dean. And then through the center section here, we see Dean fill this outside zone pretty well and a continued separation there, but strong performance overall by both guys. We saw mistakes by both guys, and now it's in the judges' hands.
Slide him left for Dean Carney, slide him right for JTP, Justin Pollock, and there it is. Justin Pollock, JTP gets the win. Justin Pollock advances on into the Great 8. All right, so we have another battle. Our final battle of the top 16 should be a fun one to watch, and it's with Christophe Bluche, and Lorette caught up with him right before he headed out here for this battle.
Hey guys, Christophe Bluche under the tent, trying to stay cool back here. Christophe, you told me you made a few changes from Long Beach to here. Could you tell us what those were?
Yeah, so since this track is the bank, so obviously we're going direction right turn, so we have to like a little bit play with the left side of the suspension. So what we did, we a little bit made the left side stiffer so we can stay high on the bank all the way, and then just coming off the bank, still maintaining the same speed, doing fast transition, and again just like full throttle. On the right side we left the same spring rate, so it sits low and we have a maximum grip.
You told me you were really confident coming into this round, so how do you use that to your advantage?
Just feeling strong, so there is no one who can beat me. I'm the best for myself, and just trying to put the best I can out there, and if I won't mess up my runs or my chase run, nobody can beat me.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Guys.
All right, well, you can see Christoph's is on the line, and we saw Ryan Turk out there briefly warming up his tires, but his spotter came in, and he needs to call a competition timeout. So that will be a 5-minute allotment for him. And we are back here, and this is the second half of this battle. We saw Field and Bakshish get into it earlier. Not just a competition, but they literally made contact as Odie led. Matt Field got into the side of Odie, and Odie was allowed to get his hands on his car, not utilize the competition timeout. When Lorette Nickel had an interview with Matt Field, he said, we're just going to straighten out the toe and send it back out there. So looks like he might have had to use his competition timeout. So Field will lead as this is the second half. So we've already seen the first half. That contact was made. They did continue through the course. But they'll take all that into consideration. Then after this, we do have one more battle of Ryan Turk and Christophe Bluche. And Turk called that competition timeout. Here we go. Matt Field, the Wish, Falcon Tires, Corvette, Odie Bakshish in the field suspension, Falcon Tires, S14, Matt Field, high on the bank, great angle. See if Odie can gain some proximity, chase him down, allowing him to transition in front of him, approaching that second front clip, both of them. Odie obviously a little closer, takes that, whoa, high on the bank goes Odie Bakshish. Odie Bakshish
Real interesting battle here, Jared. We saw the contact in run number 1, which really resulted in not a whole lot. And then we see Matt Field out front with a solid lead line. Odie Bakshi starting to chase him down here through this center section. Both drivers looking pretty good, but Odie on a little bit on the inside of that cone, and then he goes a little bit long there. Now, does that even things out? Because Matt being at fault, I would not be surprised if the judges want to get a clear winner here. Let's take a look at the first run again. Great job by Odie out front. Now you have to give it up for Odie because right there, he could have flopped.
Could have shut it down.
He could have flopped, and it wouldn't have made a difference. But he stuck in it, and both guys driving for Falcon doing an incredible job here. So we got to see both runs overall, and now it's in the judges' hands.
All right, the scores are in. Are they going one more time, or do we have a winner? Slide him left for Field, right for Bakshis. Ryan says Odie Bakshis. Andy says one more time, and Brian says one more time. They are going at it again. So one more time battle for these guys. And already on the start line, Ryan Turk and Kristaps Blush. So the competition timeout utilized. Love just seeing cameos of Larry Chen just jumping all over. It's like, where's Waldo? Where's Larry? Ryan Turk will lead. He qualified 6th compared to Blush, qualified 11th. The Gum Out Nexen Tires, Toyota Racing, Toyota 86 of Ryan Turk. Kristaps Blush, HGK, Mass Motorsports, Achilles Tire, Eurofighter. And we should be good to go. And we are clear to send. Ryan Turk out front. Faint entry into the bank. There goes Ryan Turk. Eye on the bank, Blush, some wavering. Talked about that setup, a stiffer setup, feeling confident. Slamming down into that second front clip. A big gap here between Turk and Blush. And now Kristaps Blush gets to the side of that 86. Ryan, what was the observation you said?
It looked like Blush understeered through the center section there. Let's take a look at this again. And we are now seeing time and time again how important timing this initiation is. It looks like Blush had it timed really well there. So you can see a little bit of struggling, then he has to get back into it. Turk out front. Let's see how he comes through this center section. Watch right there. Yeah. Do you see that? See how the wheels went the other way for a second? And they should have been pointed the other direction. So it was really fast. Let's take a look at it one more time. Let's watch it again here. We'll do it quickly as the cars are back on the line. Just watch Blush as he comes down off the track. It's really going to happen really fast, right there.
Yeah, you see him work the wheel. He's fighting it. I think, he's talking about the suspension setup with Lorette setting it up stiffer on one side, but the attitude of the car when it came down off the bank, I mean, the transition from the bank to the flat portion, it's not as violent, let's call it what it is, compared to wall, but it still upset the vehicle is what I saw. All right, so Kristaps will now lead. Ryan Turk will give chase. Kristaps Blush, again, big V8 under the hood of this Eurofighter. Ryan Turk running the 2JZ. Both these guys running about 1,000 horsepower under their hood. Kristaps initiates. Ryan Turk a little late. Like you said, timing is everything. Blush now just on it. Look at that. The cotton balls just coming off the back of that BMW. Ryan Turk gaining some ground here for going a little bit of angle to gain some proximity. Now Ryan Turk finally getting to the side there, Ryan.
Yeah, that was one of those runs where, the meter was definitely on the side of Turk after run number 1, but then run number 2, it starts sliding back towards Kristaps. You can see Turk doesn't get a good jump on the initiation. He falls way behind, starting to get back to center now, but is it enough to go in any one direction here? You only see Turk really buttoning up the chase run towards the end, and is it too little too late there for Kristaps, or was that enough to force it one more time? That mistake from Kristaps, was almost could be interpreted as an opposite drift, but the judges haven't said anything about an incomplete. So we've got 2 runs judged now, and it's up to them to tell us what happened.
All right, we can see Odie there, staying hydrated. 2 new rears, more fuel. Ready to head back out there. All right, so judges still deliberating. Slide him left for Kristaps, slide him right for Ryan Turk, or are we going one more time? Ryan Turk says Ryan, Andy says one more time, and Brian Eggert says Ryan Turk gets the win. Ryan Turk gets the win. All right, so Turk advances on. Kristaps Blush is knocked out. So Osbo against Gucci. Visick versus Forsberg. James Dean versus one of these guys. Who's it going to be, Field or Bakshi's? And then JTP Justin Pollock versus Ryan Turk. All right, here we go. See the cameras getting set. Again, next month on CBS Sports, Formula Drift. Comfort of your own home on CBS Sports. Myself, Ryan Sage, your tour guides there. Even if you're here in the building, it's always great to see the different perspectives and interviews of the Formula Drift broadcast on CBS Sports. And here we go. Odie out front. Matt Field in the chase position. Oh, and Matt Field shuts it. Okay. We got a cone down. Got a restart. All right, sweet. I was like, oh no, Field broke. All right, cone is down. This is a restart. Strike 1. Odie Bakshi's. So again, 3 strikes, you're out. You can see the cone knocked over there at the start chicane. That is being, the reason that's been implemented over the years is to basically get the cars closer together so it's not a drag race from the start. Slow down that lead car so he doesn't just slingshot and drag race away from the other driver. So pairs them up, gets them close in proximity on initiation into that first clipping zone or point. So we utilize this at every track that we visit. All right, so strike 2, Odie. All right, so here we go. Clean start. The one more time battle. From the top, Odie Bakshi's. Talking about top of the bank. As now, keeping the distance, Matt Field. Wow, almost getting, oh, and Matt Field. Big mistake there. Gets out of shape. Oh, that's going to be a bummer for Matt Field. The car starts getting shaken out here. Let's look at this again here, Ryan.
I'm not sure, but I don't know if Matt touched his vehicle between the runs. I'd have to imagine that he did because of the one more time to fix that toe, but I wonder if they were able to really get under the vehicle. Let's see what happens here. Odie comes down off the bank. Matt right here on the transition through. It's almost like he tried to get to opposite lock, but then was forced back around, and then he gets back into drift here, but that's pretty much an incomplete.
Again, follow a lot, if you don't already, follow the drivers on social media. Matt Field really transparent with his build and what's going on. Here we go. Matt Field out front. Now he's got something to prove. Locks it in as Odie Bakshi's a couple car distance back. And Odie, it looks like Odie doesn't, he's kind of lacking the angle too here. Odie Bakshi's does not look 100%. And Odie Bakshi's, yeah, that left rear tire at some point debeated through the course.
Wow, this is getting
hairy.
Yeah, getting crazier and crazier. You can see Odie is playing catch up right here. Matt has a solid lead run out front. He's pretty high on the bank. It's through the center side. It's right there that you see it gets a little bit wonky and then coming back around.
Right there.
And you can see from that angle coming across, Odie has no rubber down, or at least it's moving around on the rim because it's debeated. Now he does finish the run and drift, and we've seen this before. We've got Matt with a clear incomplete in the chase position. Odie finished his run. We've got Odie with a mistake. Is it an incomplete? And Matt finished his run. So it's It's a tough call here.
And again, this is the final battle of the top 16. So slide them left for Field, right for Bakshi's. And Ryan, Andy, and Brian say, Andy says Odie Bakshi's. Ryan says one more time, so they could go one more time, or do we have a winner? And there it is, Odie Bakshi's gets the win. Odie Bakshi's gets the win, and I have Ryan Lontaine here. If you could elaborate, again, that was 2-1.
This is where the judges' differences of opinion, I guess, come into play. We saw it a little bit differently. I saw Odie straighten up at inside clip 1. That's probably where his tire DB'd coming off the bank right there. He went straight. They said it's probably not an incomplete from in their eyes, but I thought it was. So in my eyes, it would go one more time because it's an incomplete from both drivers. But they went a different way. They thought Odie should win, and they didn't give an incomplete for that.
All right.
Yep.
All right. So again, Ryan was Ryan sided with the one more time. Andy and Brian said no, there was a clear-cut winner. So Odie Bakshi's advances on. Our grade 8 is set here at the Advanced Auto Parts Scorch, presented by Fast Orange. Osbo versus Gushi, Visick versus Forsberg, Dean versus Bakshi's, and then JTP versus Ryan Turk. When we come back, the grade 8 is set. All right, so we are back here with grade 8 action. Again, a beautiful day. Definitely warm, not as humid and as warm as last year, but it's about to get hotter. 2 Toyota Racing teammates as Frederick Osbo beating Ken Gushi 2 times compared to Gushi's Goose Egg. Frederick Osbo, #1 qualifier. He won here last year. Can he do it again? He's your #1 qualifier with a near perfect 99 in that Rockstar energy drink. Next in tires, Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla. And then Ken Gushi, who qualified 8th in his Greddy Performance Toyota Racing Toyota 86. So again, an all Toyota Racing battle here. The 2AR under the hood of Osbo, the 2 JZ under the hood of the 86. And with that #1 qualification, Osbo will lead. And we are clear to send our first battle of the grade 8. Osbo and Gushi. The NOS Energy Drink grade 8. Our first battle is here. No cones were hit. Clean start. Osbo. Quick rate to angle. Look at that angle. Sticking it to the wall once again. Just a textbook initiation. Ken Gushi ducking in the smoke trail. Look at that. Regains that proximity. Massive angle here as Osbo just dialing it in. I mean, just hit after hit. Osbo just is delivering.
Yeah, Jared, a lot of times with Frederick Osbo, it's the same story. He's got that high qualification. He starts off with a solid lead. He does that again here. Ken Gushi tries to time it, get up in the pocket, does a pretty decent job, and you can see he's really closing the door coming off the bank. Then a little bit of separation there. Gushi looks for another opportunity to attack. Osbo pulls ahead again. Gushi back again, so a back and forth battle here. Gushi never really on the door per se, except for that one section coming off the bank. So now we've seen the lead from Frederick Osbo, the chase from Ken Gushi. They'll switch things up, and we'll see if we can get a winner who will move on into the Final Four. We've got Osbo with that #1 qualification, Ken Gushi with that 8, Peter Vincek at #4, Chris Forsberg at 12, Dean at 2, JTP at 3, and Ryan Turk at 6. So a lot of high qualifiers here in the grade 8.
All right, here we go. The other half of this battle, Gushi and Osbo. Gushi throws it in. Osbo right there. Wow, look at Frederick Osbo. Almost rubbing his tire on the door of Ken Gushi. Transitions through Frederick Osbo, compromising some angle to gain some ground. And Gushi and Osbo cross the finish line. Make some noise, Orlando.
Well, you can see the difference up top from Frederick Osbo. He initiates, gets right into the pocket against Ken Gucci, stays super close. That left front nearly rubbing the door of Gucci. Then we get a little bit of a back off from Osbo and then surging again on the attack. This is a great lead run from Ken Gucci out front. But I have to imagine that the difference is going to come in the chase position. You saw Osbo backed off for a second there, but did a great job on the bank. Very impactful and impressive overall.
Slide him left for Gucci, slide him right for Frederick Osbo. Our three judges, Ryan, Andy, and Brian. Ryan says Andy and Brian. Frederick Osbo gets the win, and with that, he is guaranteed a podium because he's in the Final Four. If he wins, he's guaranteed first or second in the Final Four, and if he loses, because he is a #1 qualifier, he's guaranteed that third place finish. So Frederick Osbo will find himself on the podium once again. Where is TBD, to be determined. Can he go back-to-back wins from Long Beach to here? Can he go back-to-back here in Orlando? All right, and here's a brief interview with Dean, with Lorette Nickel.
James Dean just took the win against Forrest Wang and some contact on the track. He came over immediately. What did he say to you?
He said he apologized because he pushed very hard in the lead position. You know, I totally understand that. We led first. He chased me really well around the bank, and it was a battle I've been really looking forward to for a long time. So glad we could make it happen, but unfortunately in the second run, he entered really hard into the bank. He touched the wall a couple of times, and I'm not sure did he damage something in the car or what happened, but basically on his transition, the car stopped. So I made contact with him there, and we don't think it's so bad. The camber is knocked out a bit on the left wheel, but hopefully we can get it fixed for our top 8. Yeah, it's going to be fixed. So looking forward to moving on, and yeah, we're having fun overall.
James, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Guys.
Our screens are frozen. All right, so here we go. We are seeing Peter Visick and Chris Forsberg. Peter Visick will be leading, qualified 4th. Chris Forsberg qualified 12th. Osbo will go against the winner of this battle. Visick, who got 3rd place in Long Beach. Forsberg wants to get on the podium once again. And away they go from the start line. And we got a clean start. Here we go. Visick initiated into the bank. Bit of distance between them. Visick, good angle, high on the bank. Forsberg drops in. Now ducks in on that second front clip and taking it out. And Visick in the fold as Forsberg right there. And Visick just putting the car in all the right places. All right, Ryan. Ryan, we are taking a look at Visick and his lead run.
Yeah, it was a pretty solid lead run. He did a lot of the same stuff that we've seen from some of these higher qualified guys. There was some separation from Forsberg on the bank, though he made it up towards that latter section. Forsberg dove in through the center section. You saw some great angle there from Pieter towards the final section of the course. And then Forsberg really was able to get close towards that last part of the run. So a solid lead run from Pieter once again. Forsberg had some moments there and was able to close the door towards the end. So now they'll mix things up.
Yeah, we have no replay. All right, sorry for the delay here. Just want to make sure we have all our technology in place. Want to make sure that our cameras are up and running to get replay for the judges. As, again, Forsberg and Visick on the start line. And there we go. Looks like we are back. The NOS Energy Grade 8, Forsberg and Visick. Second half of this battle. as Forsberg will lead. And again, the winner to go against Osbo in the Final Four. All right, here we go. We got a clean start. Forsberg. Quite a bit of distance between Forsberg and Visick, but Forsberg nice on the bank, dropping down into that front clip, slamming down, just kissing that Black Magic front clip and past the second one. And Peter Visick not part of the equation here, as Forsberg ran a solid lead run. Visick had a good chase run, but he was just nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I mean, the scale definitely tipped back in the favor of Forsberg from the onset. We saw Pietro with that great lead run, but then Forsberg gets an amazing jump. This is the first run. We'll go back to the second run. You can see here, this is where Pietro has that solid lead line up top. Forsberg closes the door here, and we get a little bit of separation coming through after this section. We saw Forsberg come through the smoke line, was able to time that pretty well, and then he closes the door very nicely towards the end. Now let's go back to the run with Chris leading. He gets an incredible jump out of the gate. I mean, rockets out of the gate. It's almost like Peter was standing still for a second, and Pietro really wasn't able to catch up. You thought maybe you'd start reeling him in here, and he does to a certain extent, but then we see him fall off, and Forsberg is gone. 6-7 car lengths, and Pietro is not able to make it back up. Meanwhile, Forsberg is not cutting the line. He's staying deep into the zone, gets all the way through, and we've got a big gap at the end. This is very unlike the Pietro we've seen at the last round and also at Super Drift. So now
and throughout today, to be quite honest. I mean, he was right on people's door.
For sure, yeah. I mean, so now both runs are in the books. Let's see what the judges have to say.
Lead run versus lead run, chase run versus chase run. Again, the winner to go against Osbo. The winner going against Osbo in the Final Four. Slide him left for Forsberg, right for Peter Visick. And Ryan says Chris Forsberg, and all of them do. It's unanimous. Chris Forsberg gets the win, advancing on to the Final Four. Osbo versus Forsberg in the Final Four. James Dean, Odi Bakshi's. James Dean has beat Bakshi's once before. Again, S chassis. You have two very different ideologies. You have James Dean with the 2J, the Toyota power plant under the hood, and then you have the supercharged V8 under the hood of Odi's vehicle. So, two drivers already in the Final Four. Waiting for these two gentlemen to go, and then we will be seeing Justin Pollock versus Ryan Turk on the other side of the bracket. All right, so sorry, I had a little bit of debris out there on the track. Sorry for the delay, and we are ready to send it. Here with Dean and Bakshis. Dean exits out, little faint entry. Dean high on the bank, once again, like a broken record. Odi Bakshis. Good close distance for Bakshis. Next to James Dean, both of them getting into the crease. And the smoke wave, pretty straightforward for both these guys. They make it look so easy. Dean out front, and Bakshis, just his chase game has just gotten better and better.
Strong competitive performance by both drivers. You can see, as you said, Jared, very high on the bank is James Dean. Odi just a little bit lower, but very strong performance consistent across the board. Odie comes through with a little bit less angle here, and you can see when a run is this good by both the lead and the chase, you notice a couple of little things that could have been maybe adjusted and perfected, and it gives an opportunity for the driver that was in the other position an opportunity to at least equal or better the other driver. So now we'll switch things up. Odie goes to the lead, and James Dean chases him down, and I have to imagine this is going to be a pretty strong performance by both guys, given kind of the vibe of the event right now.
The old vibe, man. All right, all right, all right. Yeah, and you've stressed a lot about that and made that observation, is how critical that initiation is, and I think Odie timed that really well.
Yeah, I think so. It's been a make or break for a lot of the battles here this afternoon, especially the early on battles where when you have separation, don't get the timing right, you know, the run is essentially over. You're looking for the lead guy to make a mistake at that point.
Well, let's see how James Dean does in the chase position against Odie Bakshi. Simultaneous, and there it is. James Dean gets to the side of Odie Bakshi. Now into those front clips, into no man's land, and there it is. But look at Odie Bakshi. He does go a little too deep into that outer zone, that second outer zone. And like you said, you start splitting hairs here. That was no craziness, no wacky zaniness, no foul play. It was just a straight up battle.
Well, there's those moments where you see a guy like James, and Piotr does it too, where they start to sink their teeth in and they just don't retract, you know, like a vampire. But this time, Odie does not let James do that. He keeps pulling out ahead without cutting the line. This is where James could sink his teeth in right here. Close the door, leave a nice impression for the judges, but Odie allows that gap to stay wide.
Yeah.
He doesn't let James Dean close the door on him towards the end. Now, this section of the course is incredible for James, but it's also good for Odie. You can see right there, very close, a little bit of compression, then they pull apart, and then this is where Odie avoids letting James really stab the knife in here towards the end. So great battle, awesome competition between both guys, and the judges will definitely have to give a close evaluation here to both runs.
The NOS Energy Drink Grade 8 battle of Dean and Odie. Seeing the other final competitors here in the Grade 8 make their way onto the track. JTP, Justin Pollock, and Ryan Turk. So Osbo, Forsberg are already in, one of these guys, and then either JTP or Ryan Turk. And it looks like we might have a winner. We're going one more time. Odie Bakshi, slide him left. James Dean, slide him right. James Dean is your winner. James Dean advances on. So we have our number 1 and our number 2 qualifier. All right, so Justin Pollock, Ryan Turk, our final battle of the Grade 8. Look at how many battles, 12 between these two gentlemen, and Justin Pollock winning 8 compared to Ryan Turk's 4. All right, so Justin Pollock qualifying 3rd. So right now we have our number 1, number 2, and will JTP be in the final 4? He qualified number 3. Ryan Turk qualifying 6th. Chris Forsberg, the lowest qualifying driver, as he qualified 12th. So he would need to win in the final 4 to guarantee a podium. And here we go. JTP, Justin Pollock initiating. Nice job by Pollock. Oh, Ryan Turk surging forward. Justin Pollock, massive angle here. Coming down into that front clip. Transitions into the second front clip. Great angle and good composure from Justin Pollock. Ryan Turk now gaining some ground, nosing in with that Toyota 86.
Well, you can see, again, how important the initiation from the lead driver is. Turk gives a little bit of room to JTP as he initiates. Is not able to close the door until the middle last half of the bank. Now coming through the center section here, keeping pace with Justin, but Pollock is linking this last section really well here. Overall, it's a solid lead run for Justin Pollock. Great job fulfilling most of the criteria that the judges are looking for, trying to go for that 100-point lead run. Turk having some moments there, could have done the initiation a little bit better. We saw the difference between that in the last run, but now we'll switch things up as Ryan Turk will take the lead.
3 drivers already in the final 4. One of these guys is going to join them. Again, Osbo, Forsberg, James Dean, and now either Turk or Pollock. And the winner of this goes against James Dean. Ryan Turk now in that lead position. Send it. Here we go. Ryan Turk initiates. Kind of a slow trickle out of the gate. Massive angle there from Turk, Justin Pollock. Chasing him down into that flat section. Look at Pollock, great proximity. Very similar to that of what Turk was doing. Doesn't match the angle exactly. Compromise the angle to gain that ground. Let's look at this again here, Ryan.
Well, you can see Justin does a pretty good job timing the initiation here and gets right door to door with Ryan Turk, but that's pretty much the last of it we see after the bank. He still keeps good close proximity, but Ryan was able to close the door a little bit better in his run on the second half, whereas Turk is able to pull a gap here. But I think this is just really splitting hairs. Both guys had pretty good lead runs and strong moments in the chase. It looks to me like perhaps a little bit of running out of tires. I heard one of the judges say that as well. And as we see them doing their work over there.
Yeah, that was a good observation from the judges, seeing how much minimal smoke is coming off the back of Justin Pollock's vehicle, and that could, not have much tire left or any tread left. All right, so again, Pollock, Turk, the winner going against James Dean, and the final driver to join the other 3 in the final 4. Remember, in just a couple weeks, we have Formula Drift Atlanta. You can see there James Dean getting his car, keeping it cool. So, yeah, just in 2 weeks, we will be at Road Atlanta, May 11th and 12th for round 3 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. Do we have a victor? Slide him left for Turk or right for Justin Pollock. Ryan says Ryan Turk, and Andy and Brian, all of it's unanimous. Ryan Turk gets the win and advances on into the final 4. So our final 4 is set. Our final 4 is set. It's Osbo versus Forsberg, Dean versus Turk. When we come back, Advanced Auto Parts Scorch, presented by Fast Orange. All right, welcome back. And before we go into the final 4, Lorette Nickel caught up with James Dean, who finds himself in the final 4 once again.
James Dean is going really hard on that lead run. So when you're putting in that much effort, how do you conserve tires?
That's probably our biggest struggle right now. We're pushing as hard as we can in the lead position with quite a lot of angle and a lot of wheel speed, and by the time we get to our second run, it's good on the bank, but when we go through the infield, we're starting to come to the end of the tire, which is, we're just pushing hard, so we're maybe using too much in the first run, but overall, all good. Very close battle with Odie. I'm not sure what the judges called it on, but I thought it was going to go one more time, but we managed to get the win, and now I'm facing Ryan Turk in top 4, so it's going to be a tough one, I think, but we're feeling good.
I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but do you dial down the lead run just a little bit?
I don't know, I'm having too much fun while leading, so I'm really enjoying the lead run on this track, and it feels great from the inside, so I don't really want to change it, so we'll just have to try our best and see what happens, so fingers crossed. Thank you very much.
James the Machine Dean talking about strategy, talking about tire attrition, keeping it together, and right now we are seeing 2 champions going against each other, and actually 3 champions in the final 4. The only one, sorry buddy, Ryan Turk, not a champ, but obviously wants to make his way to being one, and he moved a step closer. So Frederick Osbo versus Chris the Force Forsberg. You can see Forsberg there in his NOS Energy Drink 370Z on Nexen tires, and then Frederick Osbo in his Rockstar Energy Drink Nexen tire Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla. Osbo will lead, of course, with his #1 qualification. Doesn't get better than that. You can see 11 battles between them, and Osbo winning 8 out of the 11. So Osbo guaranteed a podium. If he wins, he goes for first or second. If he loses, he will have the highest qualifying position. So that third place finish defaults to qualifying. So Forsberg, this is a must win for him in order to get on the box, get the podium. What do you got?
Well, I was just going to say, definitely some interesting potential matchups for championship points as well. This, no matter what, this bodes well for Osbo.
Yep.
It bodes well for Dean. We saw Wayne go out in the top 16, so that's going to have an impact on his championship chase. And we're too early in the season to really see how things are going to come together, but you know, it always is interesting when you go back and look at the historical years, whether it's last year or a couple of years ago, and see how things played out. You can always go back to certain events and say, if only this happened.
Right. Well, that's what happened to Odie here. Remember, like Odie had that just a terrible Florida, and yeah, it wreaked havoc on his championship run. All right, setting cars, here we go. And Osbo is out front. Chris Forsberg in tow. Osbo way higher than Forsberg. Forsberg really struggling to get the height that Osbo does. And now into that first front clip, transition into the second. And now Forsberg gaining that ground into the full. Both the drivers go, these two champs. Ryan, let's take a look at this again. Forsberg on initiation.
Yeah, it's really, I think, the mistake is made by Forsberg on the bank, not able to keep pace or line with Frederick Osbo. You can tell Chris knows that he has that mistake there. He's got to make up some ground here. He's able to do that as Osbo goes from that second inside clip to the outer zone. Chris sees a nice opportunity here, very close towards the end, so is able to leave on a strong mark there, but that first part of the run on the bank definitely going to go against him here. So he's now got to make that up with a solid lead of his own as Osbo will chase him down.
All right, Forsberg will now lead. Osbo giving chase. All right, so Forsberg again. It looks like the judges are seeing if there was contact made after the finish line. That's which would definitely shake things up for the vehicles and their performance. Right?
Yeah, I think they just want to check to see if there was any contact and whether or not the vehicles need to be looked at. We have tech looking at the vehicles now. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a little rub in there. Yeah,
right there on Forsberg's door.
Well, this should probably get it from this angle.
Bloom.
Right there. Oswald just comes out of drift and they make a little tap there. So should inspect the vehicles. That was a good call there by one of the judges catching that.
All right, so the contact there on Forsberg's door. And it seems that potentially might not be any repercussions. Forsberg's door a little forgiving compared to something like a metal door, you know, it being carbon fiber and all. Here we go, the second half of this battle. Who's going to the finals? It's going to be Forsberg or Osbo. Forsberg initiates. Osbo throws it in, but has to drop down, has to back off. And now, into that first front clip goes Forsberg. This is where Forsberg rocketed away from Pieter earlier. And now, into the fold goes Forsberg. Osbo dropping back a little bit there. So Forsberg, for some reason, just kills the second half of this track against Peter Vincic and now against Osbo.
Well, Osbo starts off strong here on the bank, Jared. You can see he gets the timing right. He's on a little bit of a lower line, but the proximity's there, and then he moves up. So you see him kind of trading positions there a little bit. Osbo is going to not able to really close the door on the Chris Book here in the Final Four as he kind of lets him get away. Separation here towards the end. So you've got that first run where you saw Chris make a mistake on initiation through about halfway through the bank. He was on a lower line. Osbo did really good on the bank in his chase, but really fell apart on the second inside oval towards the finish line. So judge is taking a look.
All right, waiting on results. Do we have a winner? Where are my Chris Forsberg fans at? Make some noise. Where are my Frederick Osbo fans at? Make some noise. Where are my drifting fans at? Stomp your feet, make some noise. All right, waiting for the verdict. Who's going to the finals? Again, Osbo, if he loses, he's guaranteed a podium. If he wins, obviously he's going for first or second place. James Dean, Ryan Turk on the other side of the Final Four bracket. Parker Jet, how we doing? Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Love you. See you tomorrow. Tyson Bravo, congrats on your shots. Brian Eggert looks completely enthralled right now. All right, so again, waiting for the tabulations, little technology here, and slide him left for Forsberg, slide him right for Osbo. Ryan says one more time. Andy says one more time. They're going at it again. They are going at it again. It's a one more time battle. Lantagne, you jumped over here and it was unanimous one more time.
Yeah, they both made mistakes in different parts of the track. In the chase position, Forsberg really made some big errors on outside zone 1. His angle was low. Also, the line was a lot lower as well. But he did really well in the second part of the track. If you look at when Osbo chased, he did a little bit lower on outside zone 1 right away, but caught up, but then had no proximity through outside zone 2. So really their leads were similar and their chases had similar mistakes in different areas. So there's no other way to go but one more time.
Yeah. Clean it up. Don't leave it in the judges' hands, fellas. So Osbo and Forsberg will go at it again. All right, so James Dean, Ryan Turk. Only one time these guys have done battle against each other. Dean and Turk. Dean will lead, and Ryan Turk will give chase. Here we go. Second half of this Final Four bracket. Dean initiates. Ryan Turk throws it in. James Dean, great angle. Look at the smoke coming off both these guys. James Dean slams down. Looks like Ryan Turk's got a little bit of attitude with the car. And James Dean and Ryan Turk, look at that, gaining some ground, but James Dean dialed in on that lead position. A great job from both these guys.
Yeah, I think Turk made some good adjustments there, Jared, especially figuring out what he needed to do on the initiation in order to not let James get away. You can see he initiates a little bit lower, then moves up, and you can see he keeps that proximity pretty good here. He's not right on the door, but this is very strong in terms of competition between these two guys. Turk doing what he needs to do, and of course James out front. You can always count on him to have a very solid lead run, so it's almost not even really worth commenting on because it's the same run every time. The important part is James did not run away from Turk. He did a pretty good job of staying with him. He managed the initiation really well, and now he's got an opportunity here to kind of match that lead run of James.
Seeing Chris Forsberg and his team working on the vehicle, getting it lifted up, throwing in some fuel, throwing on some fresh necks and tires. He has to do battle against our current points leader, Frederick Osbo, and this is Ryan Turk out front and James Dean in the chase position. And we are clear to send the second half of this battle. Where are my Ryan Turk fans at? Make some noise. Where are my James Dean fans at? They're pretty split down the middle. Here we go. And we got a clean start. Here we go. Ryan Turk throws it in. James Dean drops in. Wow, look at James Dean right on the door of Ryan Turk. Turk, good angle into that front clip. Transitions now. How's James Dean going to execute? And Ryan Turk gets into the crease. James Dean not getting all the way out there. Look at that, losing some ground. And Ryan, I think this is what James Dean was talking about. The tire, keeping it together, the attrition. He says, I'm having fun in the lead run, but does he have enough tire here in this second half?
I think you're absolutely right there. That is tires playing a role. And you can see the difference between Turk and Dean is pretty noticeable on the bank in terms of the proximity. Great job there. He dives right in. But after that, he kind of gives it up a little bit in terms of his ability to be able to chase with the same proximity. Right here, you can see the tires are going. He's not able to keep the grip in the car. You can see how the car is kind of angling out a little bit. And the question is, for James Dean and his team is looking at, is that the best strategy? I think it is, because I think the bank is the most impressive part. He maintained good proximity even coming through the center section. So it was a good hedge for him, given the fact that they are struggling with tire wear, from what he said in his interview with Lorette.
All right, so James Dean airing out. You can see, again, the temperature's rising in the cockpit. And here we go. Do we have a winner? Are they going one more time as well? Ryan Turk versus James Dean. And James Dean gets the victory. James Dean advances on into the finals. So Ryan Turk, who qualified 6th, waits in the wings to see, again, if Osbo wins, Ryan Turk will get 3rd. And there are our 2 champions going for the finals. They're in the final 4, but who's going against James Dean in the finals? Forsberg warming up his necks and tires underneath his NOS energy drink, Nissan 370Z.
Well, Jared, you know, it's an interesting story here. We didn't see Forsberg on a podium until Texas last year, as he was debuting that new power plant setup. And we are seeing him in a situation where he can capture that podium if he's able to beat Osbo here. That's pretty much the only way it's going to happen, because he is the 12th ranked driver, or excuse me, the 12th qualified driver from this weekend. Turk we've got at number 6, so he's got a better shot than Forsberg if he gets knocked out here. And of course, Osbo with that number 1 qualification would guarantee himself a podium if he were to get knocked out.
All right, so Osbo will lead. Thumbs up from our camera guys. Osbo will lead in this one more time battle. Again, as you just stated, Ryan, is number 1 qualification. Guaranteed a podium. But where's it going to be? We will soon find out. And we are ready to send it here. And away they go. Clean start, no cones hit. Let's see what we got. Osbo throws it in. Smoke machine just gets turned on immediately. Big angle from Osbo. Forsberg gets close to him on that first front clip, transitioning into that second. Now into the crease goes Osbo and Forsberg. Forsberg right there on the door of Frederick Osbo. No contact made after the finish line. Again, Forsberg is just annihilating that second outer zone.
Yeah, pretty good strategy from Forsberg, kind of the opposite of the Dean strategy. Gives a little bit of a space on the bank. Then he starts to reel Osbo in right here, coming on into the crease area through the middle section, the whoops, and then right here into the pocket. Great lead by Osbo, but the chase there through the finish line. Forsberg solid, switching things up. Forsberg going to the lead, and Frederick Osbo, his chance to chase him down on this one more time battle.
Like you said, a different strategy as compared to some of the other drivers, not sticking it right to the door. I'm sure he'd like to, but it allows him to give him that distance in the transition. A lot of the guys are just trying to stay, and then they have to back off, and they're going to lose a lot of ground in that transition from the first front clip to the second front clip. So Forsberg just seizing the opportunity on the second half of this course. Here we go. Forsberg now up front. He's got the clean air, and it looks like it is a restart. That is a restart. Forsberg hit a cone.
Same cone from earlier as well. Watch this right here. Just going to bump it out of the box.
Blink.
Boom.
So both of them heading back to the start line. So already in the finals, James Dean, if you're just tuning in, hashtag FDORL. Frederick Osbo, can he go back-to-back, not only here in Florida, but also the win in Long Beach, #1 qualifier. He wants to make it a perfect event. But Forsberg's going to try to put a stop to that. And away they go. All right, now we got a clean start. Who's going to the finals against James Dean? Forsberg initiates. Frederick Osbo right there. He gained that ground, had to back off a little bit. Forsberg, big angle here into that first front clip. Almost identical. Osbo way out of line as Forsberg rounds it out, gets in the crease, and it looks like Forsberg might have this victory with a mistake, a massive mistake by Frederick Osbo. Ryan, let's look at this again. That was finally a thorn in Osbo's side.
Well, it looks like he gave that one away initially on first pass. Nice and high by Chris, and Osbo pushing the pace here near that back bumper, and then through the center section. He's come through the smoke line. He's on that inside line, and he goes just about 4 wheels off. Huge mistake by Osbo. He's never able to regain proximity, and as Forsberg crosses the finish line, let's take a look at that first run, Jared. Again, going back to this, we talked about kind of the reverse strategy of Forsberg. He keeps it close here, but doesn't push it extremely hard until we get through this center section. And then right here in the pocket, Osbo, great lead line out front, but Forsberg right there, keeping it door to door, leaving an impression with the judges through that final turn. Now here's the second run. Osbo dives in. He's looking so far so good. Great job following Chris. This is where you see that decel area. Both drivers come off. Big smoke line. And as Osbo comes through the smoke line, you can see he goes at least 2 wheels off, but he is never really able to be back in the fight after that mistake.
How we doing, Stephanie? Love you. See you tomorrow. Parker and Tyson, Garland and Fran. See you guys tomorrow. Love you guys. Just a shout out to my family real quick. As Frederick Osbo and Chris Forsberg wait for the outcome. Osbo, again, your #1 qualifier, your winner from Long Beach, California. He won here last year, and now Forsberg trying to put a stop to that. So again, both the drivers waiting for the outcome. James Dean also waiting in the wings. And it looks like the scores are in. Slide them left for Forsberg, right for Osbo. Ryan, Andy, and Brian say Chris Forsberg gets the win unanimously. Forsberg's going to the finals. Frederick Osbo's day is done at minimum. Again, he still gets 3rd place. Frederick Osbo still gets 3rd place, but Chris Forsberg gets the win. Ryan Latain, you're up here and elaborating about that. Unanimous. Man, Osbo finally showed he was actually human.
Yeah, Osbo made a mistake there it basically cost him this run. He positioned himself in the wrong area as he was coming through inside clip 1 to inside clip 2. It's an area that you need to have what they call the muscle memory.
Right.
And I think his memory forgot right there. He got himself in the wrong spot, put some tires off, and the car ended up in the wrong area. You had to grab the handbrake, pull it way, for quite a long period of time. So you can see the replay right here. As he comes through, you can see he's transitioned way too early. He's way on the inside, threw wheels off, big handbrake. So that's a really big error. Chris Forsberg, it's fascinating. We were talking, he does great on outside zone 1 in the chase, but he's able to get right next to a driver on outside zone 2, and nobody can seem to keep up to him in outside zone 2. I don't know what he's doing. He's got good angle through there. The car's in the right spot. He's not cheating at all anywhere, but nobody can seem to keep up with him through outside zone 2. It's either they run out of tires and he still has tires, or he's just figured out a way to get traction through there that nobody else can do.
Well, the only other person that's been doing that is James Dean, to be quite honest, but he ran out of tire. It looks like he even lost his tire when he went against Turk, but also the way Forsberg is executing coming off the bank into that first front clip is kind of unlike other people. You see him really dive in and hold a good amount of angle, but still that forward grip.
Exactly, yeah, and that's an area that he's able to maybe get away a little bit and confuse people in the chase position. So a lot of this is strategy. Clearly, yeah. These drivers need to drive as close to that 100-point qualifying run as they can, but they also have to, within the rules, trick the chase driver. You know, it's not cheating, but
right.
You're being strategic.
Right. I remember years ago going to DMCC when you were driving, and it was all about messing up that chase driver,
yeah.
And that's not the case here. It's just about utilizing your car to the utmost, having enough car, and also just manipulating your car in the right way.
Exactly. So we see that now and then the drivers are going to give up a little bit here and there. And this is what we talk about in the drivers' meeting. If you have to give up something early on or later on in the lap, you need to do that quickly and then get back on the line, get back on the same angle.
Right.
And you can see that now and then drivers at initiation here will dip down just a little bit, get the proximity, and then get their cars back up to the wall, get them close to the lead car where they should be. And they're making that work for them, because it's very difficult with these cars, the way they're built, to have the close proximity immediately and keep it through. It happens sometimes, but for the majority of the drivers, they need to give up a little bit here and there. And we're always looking at who's giving up what. Are they giving up more than the other driver? And it's a risk that you take, especially if you're chasing first. You think, I gotta set the bar here for the chase. And then the other driver spotter is going to tell him, all right, your turn to chase now. He gave up this here and there, and that driver's got to try to outdo you. So it's always a game of give and take, cat and mouse, and that's what a lot of the strategy comes down to, and that's why the spotters are so important.
And Forsberg's taking a different approach, like Ryan was making the observation, I think we all were, is Forsberg giving some distance, not getting right to the door, because when you come down into the no man's land here, the two front clips, seems that a lot of the drivers are backing off and they're not regaining that ground. Forsberg is kind of then just slowly reeling in, kind of doing this versus like bang and then backing off bang.
And that's what we don't he's not doing anything in a cheating sense, but somehow he's able to give the lead driver room, let them do their transition. He sees what he needs to do in the chase, gets himself positioned by inside clip 2, and he's able to stick to their door all the way around that zone. So it's pretty impressive that he's got his car set up the way that it'll work for him, and he's able to beat drivers here that are typically very high placing drivers.
Yeah.
You know, through last season and the beginning of this season. So good for him figuring it out.
Well, we're hearing an update here as we're getting prepared for the finals. James Dean and this man, Chris Forsberg, is going to the finals. Who is going to come out the winner? Lorette?
Hey guys, thank you so much. Chris Forsberg, you actually had a pretty rough start to the weekend. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we tried a couple new things coming into this round. We wanted to get the most out of our twin turbo V6 package, and we were, chasing some ghosts for the first day or two. And last night we just decided, let's go to what we know, and we pulled the motor and we put the Long Beach setup all back in and retuned it. John Reed was actually tuning it from the airplane last night, and it is running perfectly all day today. And we're back, and the car is on point, and we're ready to do this.
Going against James Dean, how do you take that win?
James Dean is a perfectionist. He's on point, he's fast, he runs great tandem, and so we're just going to have to give it right back to him.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Guys?
Thank you, Lorette. Good luck to you, Chris Forsberg. Good luck to you, James Dean. When we come back, this is the Advanced Auto Parts Scorched, presented by Fast Orange. I'm Jared Dienda, Ryan Sage, Ryan Lantagne, Lorette Nickel, the Battle of the Champions. All right. So we're going to do the roller coaster. The roller coaster is on 3. Everybody stand up and scream like you're on a roller coaster. Well, you don't stand up on a roller coaster, but you put your arms up and scream as loud as possible. So on 3, you're just going to stand up and yell and hold your hands up as loud as possible. The finals are here. Orlando Speed World. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there we go. That's a good one to end on. And we're going to send it here as these vehicles. James Dean, Chris Forsberg, 4 battles between them. And James Dean has won 3 of the 4. 75% winning average against each other there for James Dean. And we are ready to send it for the Advanced Auto Parts Scorched, presented by Fast Orange. Round 2 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. Round 3 is just in 2 weeks at Road Atlanta, the birthplace of Formula Drift, heading back there for the 15th time. James Dean will lead due to his qualification position of number 2. Chris Forsberg qualified number 12, but that's out the window because they are fighting for the top podium spot. Lantagne breaking down the different approaches by these guys. And we are clear to send it on 3. Let's yell send it as loud as possible. James Dean from Ireland, Chris Forsberg from the US of A. Both these guys champions. 1, 2, 3, send it! Here we go, James Dean, Chris Forsberg. The finals are here. James Dean initiates into the bank. Forsberg not as high as James Dean. James Dean executing flawlessly. Forsberg transitioning, going to that second clip. Now James Dean getting into the crease. Forsberg regains the ground. James Dean maxing out the angle. Forsberg right there. Solid job by both these guys. James Dean, a killer lead run. Forsberg Where is he finding this? It's just like hidden power.
Well, he's got the grip and the speed to hang with James, and he comes out with a similar strategy here. Again, James consistent with that lead run out front, always solid. Forsberg makes a tiny little mistake here. He hits that inside clip, and he falls back for a second, but like he did in the last run, he closes the door, cinching down onto James Dean through that last turn there and finishes off strong. So now we're going to switch things up. James Dean is going to chase down Chris Forsberg as he goes to the lead position.
All right, so getting some of the stats here. Chris Forsberg hasn't won an event since April 2014. He has been in 8 finals since then, but has not won in first place since April 2014. He is obviously due. James Dean, unprecedented podium performances last year. Chris Forsberg wants to put a halt to that. James Dean, he wants to continue the Wordhouse success. Again, his teammate Peter Visick grabbing 3rd place in Long Beach, California. Again, Frederick Osbo, he fares well. He gets 3rd place. He gets those points. He comes out of Long Beach with that victory. Where the points end up after round 2, and in just 2 short weeks, we will be at Road Atlanta. Are you ready to send it once again on 3? Let's yell send it for potentially the final time here this weekend. 1, 2, 3, send it! Oh, and a cone is down. Cone is down. A cone is down. A cone is down here for Forsberg. That will be a strike. Here's the replay for it. Brian?
Yeah, so, you know, Chris is tapping that same cone. This is the 3rd time of the day. I can't blame him for wanting to get out of that zone as quickly as possible. So, you know, it does happen. He'll reline it back up and go at it again.
All right, so like I said, for potentially the last time of the day. And now, let's see, are we going to get a winner? Let's yell send it on 3 here at Orlando Speed World. Round 2, the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. These are the finals. Chris Forsberg versus James Dean. 1, 2, 3, send it! Orlando and around the world. Chris Forsberg initiates into the bank. Look at James Dean quickly. Oh, and James Dean, a massive mistake. James Dean gets out of shape, slams into the wall. Chris Forsberg continues. Chris Forsberg, a victory lap for him. Want to make sure that James Dean is okay. What went south? And with that, Chris Forsberg will undeniably be your winner. Fortunately, James Dean is on the other side of the vehicle, and he is moving. Round of applause for James Dean and Chris the Force Forsberg.
Wow.
Wow, what happened here, Ryan? That thing just whack, it went straight up.
Well, we see this a couple times at this event, at least once a year. Right here you can see James goes into the wall. We saw that last year, I believe, with Ken Gucci perhaps, but one of the drivers last year went into the wall either in practice, very similar to this. You can see he initiates, hold it, and then gets sucked right into the wall. So we'll definitely want to hear from James to see how he experienced it, but you can see the nose just starts going up towards the wall. Chris, at this point, needs to finish the run. He's able to do that. Here it is from the top angle here. Right there into the wall. And obviously the run for Dean is over at that point. Forsberg finishes off. It's an anticlimactic way to finish the event, but we're very glad.
I don't know if it's anticlimactic. I think it's the exact opposite. I know what you're saying.
I guess I mean in terms of there's no surprise.
Exactly. I mean, what do you want him to do? Crash his car? Well, there are the 2 drivers, 2 gentlemen of the sport. And there's Forsberg giving a hug to Larry Chen. 3-time champion, again, hasn't won since April 2014. And it looks like he will be your winner here at round 2. The Advanced Auto Parts Scorched, presented by Fast Orange. Round 2 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. And there is the hot rod that is Chris Forsberg's VQ 370Z. Look at getting it for the gram. Of course you got to get the photo, right?
Oh yeah, for some reason I thought you were over there.
All right, so again, Obviously, James Dean vehicle not going anywhere. Hey, did you guys have fun out there, Orlando Speed World? Hashtag FDORL. Join us at the podium in the pits. Just on the far end of the pits. You can't miss it. All the way there. We'll be popping some champagne. James Dean, your Uber's here. Chris is your driver. I don't know if James can fit in Chris's car. He's a tall drink of water. Yeah, of course Larry's there getting the photo. So again, our 1, 2, and 3. We'll announce it down here right on the field, on the track, center track. And we are bringing the 3rd place finisher out. You got 5 championships between them. 5 championships between the podium. And some celebratory donuts for Chris Forsberg. Make some noise for them. Your 1, 2, and 3 here, round 2 of the Formula Drift Championship. All right, and now your podium, 3rd place here at Advanced Auto Parts, Scorch, presented by Fast Orange. Round 2 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship, 3rd place here at Orlando Speed World. The Rockstar Energy Drink, Nexton Tires, Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla, Frederick, the Norwegian Hammer Osbo. And I assume you know who gets the win, but let's do it anyways. Your winner here at Orlando Speed World, playing host to the 2nd round of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship, hasn't had a win since April 2014. 8 finals in between that. Your winner here in the NOS Energy Drink 370Z on Nexton Tires, Chris the Force Forsberg. And with that, 2nd place here at Advanced Auto Parts Scorch, presented by Fast Orange, the Word House Drift Team, Falcon Tires, Sylvia S15, James the Machine Dean. There's your 1, 2, and 3, Forsberg, Dean, and Osbo. 5 championships between them, and the only 3-time Formula Drift champion, Chris Forsberg, is down there, and he is with Lorette Nickel. Lorette, go ahead, down to you.
Chris, congratulations. I know this has been a long road to get back here. How much dedication does this win represent?
I mean, this goes out to the rest of my team who've they just put so many hours in. We've done so much to make this car what it is today. And, you know, we felt like we had a great car at Long Beach, but just a small mechanical took us out. And to see us, you know, we tried to jump forward and we went, you know, a little over the bell curve as we approached this weekend. And, you know, we came together as a team, made a decision, and it paid off. And, you know, this car is absolutely the best car I've ever had. And it goes out to my team who's been working with me throughout the years. And I absolutely love you guys. And thank you to all my friends and family who've helped, and all my partners, of course. And it's just no better feeling.
And Chris, you're working on about 4 hours of sleep because of the rough start that you had, but I bet you're not tired right now.
No, not at all. We were here at the track until about 12:30, almost 1 o'clock, swapping the motor, and got right back up at like 5:30 in the morning, came back and just finished up, you know, buttoning up things, making sure we're 100%, and we were.
Chris Forsberg, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Lorette. Congratulations, Forsberg, Dean, and Osbo.